See you on the other side. I've always wanted to say that.
Recorded Saturday of last week. It's Tuesday this week. In the business world, we call that a quick turnaround time, my friends. Today, we'll be discussing some more potty training. We'll be talking some business meetings, interns, and probably scraping the barrel for any KMS content we could possibly find. Before any of that, I think it's probably important to say, even if one of your prouder moments in life is disposing of a dead animal without having to call animal control, this will still be the most boring part of your day. Pat, we'll start there.
Okay, we're here again. A dead animal. This time I've already put it in the pooper scooper, so all we have to do is dispose of it. Let's give it a whirl. How do I do this lock? Okay. Oh. Oh, look at the fucking head.
Evening, John.
Good evening. Good evening.
There's blood on my hands everywhere. Like, I don't know what's going on, but there are dead animals everywhere. Fish, bunnies, and now we have it was like a crow.
I was thinking about this. Why do you have such a pet cemetery situation going on in the Ford household?
I don't know. And like, granted, the ones that we like own and have custody of are still with us. Thank goodness.
Right.
Fucking most annoying creatures to ever live, and those things are still cooking. But I don't know what it is. I should have never done the fish. Like, let's backtrack. Like, I should have never thought the fish was a good idea. My mom reminded me once I got them that we used to kill fish all the time growing up. Like, she's like, we can never keep fish alive. I was like, fuck, that's a bad start.
Your dad is his dad before him.
Yeah, it's a many eons, many iterations of murderers. And then the bunny I think the bunny was tragic. Like I said, I have a small hole in my fence. I think the thing just probably ran into it and brained itself.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to make the same
mistake. What happens when you have a small
hole? I wasn't going to make the same mistake twice. Now, I sent you the video because I did a video of myself throwing it away. I can't take credit for it because my wife was the one that picked it up.
So when you go over to it in the video, it's already in the scooper.
I think in the video I said like, oh, I already put it in the pooper scooper. It's a pooper scooper. I was like, oh, I already got it set up. Like, she did that. She did all the legwork because she was fine with it. She's 8 months pregnant, like totally fine. I was gagging like a motherfucker throwing that thing away. I'm
glad you're ready to come clean and let the people know that it, in fact, was not you that got it into that pooper scooper.
I lied about the fish. I lied about the bunny saying I was going to do it when I wasn't. So I have to just be honest about this one. I didn't do any of the legwork here. I just dumped the thing in the trash. But it had a big ass beak. I'm pretty sure that was a crow.
Yeah, could be. Crows get big.
Yeah, it was fucking spooky. Like, it was like just hanging off the edge of the pooper scooper. I sent John the video.
You think you got this one somewhat fresh? Because that rabbit had probably been dead in your yard for
correct. This was definitely a fresh death. This was a fresh death. You couldn't smell it. Granted, it's in my trash right now, but like luckily tomorrow's trash day.
That's big. That is.
I would have been in the same situation with the bunny, but I just dragged my feet on the bunny.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you learn from your mistakes. I think the next animal that dies in my yard, I'll have the wherewithal to take care of it myself instead of having my wife do half the job. So the next one's going to be mine. And granted, at this timeline, it's only a matter of time.
It's almost like this is what they call a callback. It's almost like you do have an outdoor cat living somewhere on the premises. I mean, you're finding these animals, squirrels, birds. Like these are things, again, I've told you before, my parents grew up with outdoor cats. We would find stuff littered around the house all the time.
That's actually an interesting point because I did say that I've been leaving food out for that one steroid cat.
This is the cat thanking you. You leave the food out, it starts dragging dead animals in as like a sacrifice to its almighty Lord. I'm telling you that I'm not even kidding. I think that could be a possibility. Like if we're going to put everything on the table.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense because I didn't check this one for like wounds or anything to see if it died like, viciously. But yeah, maybe the cat is like leaving little droplings, like appreciate the food.
Yeah.
Here's a bunny. Like appreciate the food. Here's a crow.
Yeah.
I don't want that to continue. So
yeah, you're just gonna have to take away its food source.
But then does
it
turn on me?
I was gonna say, does it get angry? Yeah. These are the things you got to think about.
The other day.
Yeah, you've got a cat.
Taking my son out. Yeah, I have a third cat.
You've got a cat. It's the cat.
Cool.
You thought you were getting that cat from Plunkle. That fell through.
Yeah.
Cat stepped up. So there you go. You got another cat.
Okay. Cool. All right. So there's a little bit of method to the madness of why these animals are all dropping dead.
I think so. I mean, this is going to be a real smooth transition. Potty training. So
okay,
I've hinted at this before. I think you brought it up on your end too. We had no luck kind of slowly transitioning Thomas into potty training as far as like, oh, tell us when you feel like you need to go. Hey, but like getting the books, telling him, hey, buddy, like you're gonna
stickers.
Stop wearing. Oh, yes, we did the sticker thing. So we had to go full bore. I don't know what this method's called, but the kid just wears basically nothing besides a t-shirt all day. We didn't even like this week. He's not going to daycare, staying home with my wife every day. There are little like potties all over the house, like 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
That's all it took. That's literally all. I mean, we're only on day 2. The kids had no accidents, couple dumps in the potty, which is huge. He's never done that.
Get out of here.
So I'm thinking cold turkey is just the way to go.
Now, how old is he?
He's 3. He's a little late. I think a lot of his classmates are already like done with the diapers pretty much.
I know. That's what I get worried about because I'm in a similar boat where we tried to do the full bore one weekend, but I lost. We just lost the battle.
Yeah, you got to dedicate some serious time to it and then just decide like there's going to be freakouts and we're just going to have to ride it out, which is hard for me.
Jesus. Yeah, no, it's going to be difficult. When we've been trying it, we've tried a couple different methods. One of which you're supposed to leave them in underwear. We got him Bluey underwear. He loves Bluey. So with the thought process being maybe he won't shat on Bluey or maybe he won't urinate on Bluey. Every once in a while he has and he feels bad about it. So that was good progress. But I've come a long way in my life. Like obviously you've seen the pictures of kind of my past life and what I used to be, basically just a dirty scumbag, frankly, like everything all considered. So I have like I feel like I have like a lot of karma that's like built up against me and it hasn't necessarily hit yet. Like I've had some bad things happen, but overall pretty good. He is me, but like on steroids.
Yeah.
He is out of his goddamn mind.
Who's better at dealing with like a tantrum? Is your wife better at it, or do you have patience for it?
She's usually better, but with the pregnancy, it's difficult for her to like contain him.
Yeah.
I got no problem with it because I kind of thrive in those situations. Like if he's throwing a fit, like he's like, "No, Dad, no," and I'll just basically explain to him in detail for like 10 minutes on why I'm telling him to do something. I get satisfaction out of it, but I think it infuriates him more. So like we're having a lot of battles right now.
I was gonna say either that or you're just boring the shit out of him, and he's like, "Okay, Dad, this is it, man.
Reasonable."
Like today, I called you today, and
Your poor friend.
I was it was the VP of sales. He wanted to do a ride along with me today.
Jesus,
So,
Crow.
So I
Crow.
call Pat today. There you go. It's going to start popping. This might be a sign, good or bad. I'm in Connecticut. I go to a hospital. Again, my VP of sales is doing a ride along with me today. As we're going into the parking garage, I notice Your Fine Establishment are the folks running the parking. I won't say it because no one's ever said it on this podcast. The name of your
Lazy without the Y.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, they looked lazy. There was no actual card. Except, no, I'm kidding. No, I just wanted to call you to talk a little shop because I saw your representation there. I had you on speaker, and it felt like it felt like when you were going off on the price breakdown last episode, you hit me with just you were okay. Well, this is the reason they might not be charging the Medicare, blah, blah. After about 10 minutes, I looked over at my VP of sales, and he was dozing off like on the highway. Like I thought
Christ.
that was
he was driving.
Yeah, he was driving.
Hey, that'd be so great if he was like, "Fuck this!" Just kicked it. It's like, kill him, get him out of here.
I don't remember what you said, but there was one little line you threw in, and it got a chuckle.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah, good for Pat.
I'll have to backtrack and figure out what that was, but that's exciting. So is he hiring?
Yeah, well, we'll see. After that performance, I don't know.
Oh Christ! Yeah, I was cooking. I cooked last week. I was so happy with that. Jesus, Crow. Fuck, I gotta stop saying that.
Yeah, that's going to come out more and more. Yeah.
Yeah, no, not good. But yeah, that was a very boring conversation, very on brand. I think it was after one of the basketball games. We went to, I don't know, Be a Man was like, oh, let's go. We're going to here. I think I dropped Gus off. It was the one in Connecticut where I was like, oh, I'll drop Gus
so
off.
You dropped him off there so I could give him a ride home.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. And you and I started talking about something. Like he was like, oh, so you guys are like this in real life, like you're just boring guys. I'm like, yeah, like I think we're talking like interns.
Yeah. Speaking of which, how the turntables. I didn't see that one coming. Out of nowhere, I basically got contacted by someone, and they were like, "Hey, we've got a couple summer interns, and they need to do a capstone summer project, and they're pairing them with an employee." And basically, this guy got paired with me. So he's not really going to be my intern, but I have to be like his source of like knowledge or whatever, or answer his questions while he's trying to work on this capstone project.
You're his role model.
I guess. I haven't met him yet. I called him. I'm going to meet him on Monday. So he has to identify an issue that we're facing, and what he's trying to focus on is sales and marketing. So he's going to try to identify a problem with me, and then he's going to have to come up with a solution and then present. I don't know who he's presenting to, but present, what his solution would be. So
how long is this? How long is this endeavor?
It's for the summer.
Oh, jeepers.
Yeah. But again, he's not going to be with me every day. I think it's just like I try to help him identify what that problem is going to be, and then maybe he just asks me questions as he goes along.
And he'll just kind of run with it. Yeah, that's better than the situation that I'm in. Like I said, my intern's great, smart kid. I feel just bad for him at this point. I feel bad for him. Like, work's crazy right now, but everybody's pissing me off. Like, we got off a call the other day, and I was like, I hope that guy dies. Like, I just said that, like, under my breath. And, like, he kind of, like, looked over. I was like,
he's like with you in person?
And I was like, yeah, just a heads up. Like, I am not a good guy. Like, just buckle up. Like, I remember I just went on a rampage after that. I was like, that motherfucker. He's like, oh, okay. What do you want me to do? I took notes. I'm like, well, whatever. Just take the fucking notes and go. But
how often is he physically with you?
He's in Boston, and I'm in Boston. It's supposed to be 3 days a week, but I try not. I have to now. So probably like 2 or 3 days a week. And then most of the other stuff will just be like creating tasks over Teams, which is...
That's tough. Thing. I know. I'm trying to think of that because I just know there's going to be an element of that. Like it starts with, hey, he's going to be working on a project, and you're just going to be able to like assist him with it. But it's definitely going to turn into, hey, can you give him some stuff to work on?
Yeah, I feel bad. A lot of it's like grunt work too. Like oh, do this spreadsheet or
they expect that though. I'm pretty sure that's what they think going into it. Now, will you ever take him off site?
Oh yeah, we grabbed lunch once.
Yeah, but you won't take him to like a lot and survey or whatever.
And to be honest with you, I brought him to a lot like first week, and he identified a lot of things that like a newbie wouldn't. So I was impressed by that.
Nice.
And then he asked to get lunch shortly after, and we kind of lost focus. Next thing you know, it's 5 o'clock, and day was over.
Yeah, that's huge.
Just basically killing time.
I was thinking about using him to my advantage as far as like follow-ups. Like we've talked about that before, how like the worst part is like the fun part is almost going out into the world and meeting people, finding new accounts and stuff.
Great idea.
The shitty part is going back home and being like, hey, I'm the guy who came into your office yesterday. I'm just going to give him a list and be like, hey, reach out to these people and say I visited and say thank you for meeting with me. Contact me if you have any questions.
That's genius. That's what he's doing tomorrow. Oh God, I have so many follow-ups that I haven't followed up with.
And then I'm going to be like, hey, maybe your project should be how can we maybe automate follow-ups so we don't have to spend so much time in the office doing it and we can spend more time on the road. And then maybe he can spend his summer doing that. Boom.
Look at that. Look at that. His solution is solved.
Yeah.
I don't think that works. That's a great idea. I'm gonna have him send out like 50 emails tomorrow. Like, hey, sorry, my boss hasn't got back to you in 4 weeks. His anxiety started to take over, and he just doesn't want to talk to you.
I know. I was thinking like, oh, do I see if my company will create like a generic email and he could just email from that, or just say like, oh, I work closely with John. I understand he was at your office yesterday. I'm just making sure everything's going smooth. Blah blah blah.
That's it. That's it. Generic email won't do anything. They'll just hit right to the junk box and they'll delete it. Yeah, I'm like, hey, I look up to John. He's been a mentor of mine for years. Handsome guy, all this stuff. Maybe they'll be like, okay.
I'm gonna be pissed if I meet this kid and he's just like a strapping young fellow. I don't know why.
If he's better looking than you,
yeah, it's gonna be an issue. I'm gonna fire him immediately.
For me, it doesn't bother me. Generally, they are. It's just been the lookalikes. Like people are sending me lookalikes left and right. I
love a good Pat Ford lookalike.
People. There's so many though.
They're funny. I like when they don't really look like you, but there's like one little feature that does.
I find myself doing this most of the time. Like
I don't see it.
I can see it. Yeah, I can see it in that light.
Yeah.
I've never touted myself to be a handsome guy. It's just more of a personality.
I told you personality season's over, though. That's the only issue. Winter, personality kills. Summer, doesn't pay the bills.
Thanks, John.
Yeah. Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate it.
Hey, buddy, you're good at golf.
True.
What? So, it's like kind of connecting it to not wanting to do the follow-ups and you wanting to kill people at work. You sent me a topic that said, I'd like to work without computers. Or work life would be better without computers. Give me a little bit on that.
Think about that, right? Like everything you do is based off a computer. Your follow-ups that we're talking about, that's through a computer. All the spreadsheets and all the number analysis you have to do, that's through a computer. There is no margin for error because people could be like, nope, it's literally just formulated in a cell. You have these fucking Excel nerds out there. Shout out Zicky. And like
some tables.
Yes, some if tables, whatever I forgot all about that. F charts, what is it?
VLOOKUP.
VLOOKUP.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Like, if you could just get rid of all that, I go to a property. I say, hey, I'm Pat. Nice to meet you. Here's my house phone number. Don't call after 7 o'clock, but let's strike a deal tomorrow.
Right. Or just like hand them the contract and be like, either sign it or don't.
Here's the contract. Yeah. Oh, what do you think this thing's going to do for revenue? I have no fucking idea, but here's my guess. You're going to do $20,000 every month. Done. There's no computer. There's no backup. There's no nothing. Sign a piece of paper. Move on. Computers suck.
Think of how long we went and how much progress was made prior to computers. Like business and work and industry and revolution were still going on without a fucking computer. Like people are getting shit done. I don't understand it. I don't know how people got anything done. I can't even get it done with a computer.
I feel like there was like a better, I feel it was more camaraderie. Because now if I don't answer something, people are like, I emailed you 20 minutes ago. You got nothing going on. You haven't answered. Back in that day, it could be like, yeah, I sent you a letter. Like you haven't responded to it. Like, yeah, damn post office. Yeah, good one. I hate the post office too. You want to grab a drink? Sure. Like camaraderie. Now it's like, you prick, you didn't answer me. I'm going to Teams message you. Now I'm going to fucking Slack chat you. It's just, I would like to move away from computers entirely. This show would have trouble, for sure.
Show would have trouble. We could just meet up and just talk. We could just like sit at a picnic table and just talk to one another. And if
That'd
someone
be kinda
happens to
nice.
walk by and catches a little bit of it, like, oh yeah, you guys should.
Cat rolls up with a dead mouse or something.
Maybe there's something to like. It was so difficult and it took so much effort to get information from one party to the other that you were more prone to actually fulfill whatever task was being asked of you. Like if you knew
Correct.
that if some guy had to ride a horse 3 days straight to deliver
Go way
you
back.
a piece of paper, you might go, well, that guy did ride his horse for fucking 3 days. I guess I'll do this.
I'm talking more the 70s and 80s, but yeah, no, definitely. Were computers around in the 70s and 80s?
I think so. Didn't they send people to space?
I don't know the
1969.
correlation there.
Dude, you needed a computer to send somebody to space, right?
Hold on. Year of
This guy's going to do live to tape to NASA. Oh, speaking of which,
Hey, Elon.
I think those guys they're still
1871.
No, that's the Egyptian computer. That's the pyramid was a
1948. Sorry, it seems as though 1822. This somebody will correct us, but I don't know when computers came out. Computers suck. They do channel your expectations. No one would put 50 things on you to do because you're like, he doesn't have anything to keep track of them on. He's working off a notebook. Like, cut him some slack.
Have you
Go on? I cut you off. Sorry.
No, I was gonna. Well, actually, the only other thing I was thinking about having the intern do is start my car for me, because if Boeing wants to blow it up, I want to make sure I'm not the one in the car starting.
I saw those comments. I saw what somebody said. Be careful talking about Boeing. Has anybody been to your house?
A couple shadowy figures. I didn't think much of it. I didn't think much of it at all.
That's disheartening. Do you think like they? Let's unpeel this. Do you think they're actually listening?
They, as in Boeing?
Boeing, somebody who Boeing hires to look for keywords, and then they backtrack. Like, say we talked about it, you tweeted, somebody said, like, oh, don't talk about Boeing. Boeing pops up on Twitter as a search. They say, where did that come from? This guy's only job is just to kill people. Then all of a sudden he listens to this show, and we talk about Boeing, and then he pinpoints both of us, John and Warren, Patrick Ford, because our names are on here. Looks us up on Twitter. We don't hide much.
My name literally has the town that I live in the name.
Correct. Even more, I'm from Tennessee. And then like it's easy for them to kill us at that point because we talked about it. Do you think there is a guy that's like your one job is just to find people that talk shit? Because that'd be a sick job.
Yeah, I think so. A lot of Control F. They're looking for keyword searches. Patriot Act. It's as far as
frightening. The man
Yeah,
here in our conversations.
Do you think you could do nothing? This is something I thought about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Certainly.
See, I wasn't sure because I think you've talked about. Did you say you've had ADHD or ADD or something like that in the past? So.
Yep.
Yeah. But
quite.
So how? But you still think you could do nothing?
I would get heavy into pot.
Okay, yeah. So the reason I ask is I was coming home from being on the road today, and I had to cross over the the Washington Bridge in Providence, the one they had the work done on it.
Fucking Raimondo. Yep.
So if you know, you probably go over it quite a bit too. Yeah, it's legitimately Tommy's fault, and I'm not backing down from that take. You notice that they have those tow trucks that are just sitting there.
Yes.
And a porta potty next to it.
What a gig.
I know. I'm sure you have to be there because you're more likely to maybe have get into a fender bender with the stop and go like that. But sure. Large amounts of time they're doing nothing, and I could do that. I know I could do that.
1,000%. One thing I want to point out about those trucks is they park in the breakdown lane, and they're pretty large. Like cars are flying by them, like
I know,
kind of like a foot or so away. I'm not detracting from your point, but that would be such a sick gig. Probably make $35 an hour.
Oh, I'm sure. I feel like with those jobs, whenever it's like highway jobs, don't they tack on something extra?
I don't think that's a highway job, though. I think it's just them calling it an independent contractor.
Oh, that's true, because it is. When you look at the
trucks, a lot of the times, I don't even think those guys get paid by the state, to be honest.
No. Well, they're getting hired by the state to be there.
Yeah,
tow
but
truck,
are they? Like, if you're a tow
yeah,
truck driver, why don't you say, like, I'm just going to camp out here and wait for the
because
first accident. I'll tow it and I'll make the money.
there's no way legally you'd be able to just sit on the breakdown lane in a
They
highway.
probably get clearance for it, but what I'm saying is, like, the state's probably like, yeah, go ahead.
I got to think there's some sort of contract going on.
What's
I
that
certainly
equivalent?
think so.
That-
Because someone, I bet someone might have even had to bid for it, because why wouldn't every tow truck company be lined up sitting there?
The third tab open on my computer right now is bidding opportunities in the state of Rhode Island, statewide website. Tow.
Oh, is this sort of in your wheelhouse, or is it just outside your scope?
Listen, if they want to call me and I'll take care of it. But no, this is way outside my scope.
Yeah, but you guys must have relationships with tow companies, right? In the parking
We
world.
do, but Rhode Island's the only state in New England, to my knowledge, that is illegal to have a tow contract.
It's
A tow
illegal?
contract illegal. I've tried it for multiple bids. We used a lot of open air lots that don't have, like, obviously the scan to pay stuff that we were talking about last time, where it's an open air lot and you're supposed to pay. For locations where you have to pay upon entry, if you don't pay, we'll call a tow truck and be like, that guy's parked here for 4 days, get him out of here. Like, we've tried to get tow, like, hey, listen, we'll sign with you guys exclusively. You come by twice a day. We'll point to the car you tow. We're not going to pay you anything, but you get the money for each tow. And they do it in every other state except for Rhode Island.
Interesting. Do you know why that is? Is there like an explanation for it? No.
I asked. Most of them aren't very pleasant.
Now, is it true? Because in past episodes, you've said that you've had to have crews out there cleaning up excrement and things of that nature. Is it true? Now, this is a rumor that a certain Minifan, I won't say Ziggy.
Let's not unmask it. Let's not unmask who it is.
He's running around into random parking lots and putting bodily fluid all over the parking lot. This is just something I'm hearing.
No. Let's back that up. So let's unpack that. No, from what we've heard, from what surveillance cameras have showed,
sure,
it's not urine within the premises, urine or fecal matter for that matter. It's not within the grounds of the parking lot. It's generally in some sort of a water bottle. And that water bottle then gets thrown into the parking lot. From what we've noticed, he never admitted that. But yeah, that's stuff my litter crew has to pick up. Like, you ever drop a Gatorade? Whenever a Gatorade falls out of your hands, you're like, fuck, that cap's breaking. Like, the caps on Gatorade stink. Yep. He's just taking a bottle full of piss and a Gatorade, and he's taking out the window, right over the top. Sometimes it breaks, sometimes it doesn't. It's just, yeah, we deal with that shit all the time. And we won't say exactly who we're talking about necessarily.
There's just
a real dog.
There's just a level of disrespect for the folks that hold those positions. Blue collar guys, honestly.
And the prices of these employees is really dictated on the success of the lot. Honest to God, if a lot does really well, you have huge revenue numbers coming in, and a lot of the times your employees are your most valuable asset. Not a lot of times, all the times. So in an instance like that, if I have a lot that's high production, high volume, high revenue, I'm going to be able to pay my guys a couple bucks more, and they're going to have a better pace of life, right? Now, if I park in a parking lot every day, all of a sudden I see a guy like day after day after day, like, oh, I like parking here, but that guy's hit my car with a bottle of piss 3 times. I'm not going to come back. I start to lose revenue, and all of a sudden, like, hey, Jimmy, you're doing an awesome job. Unfortunately, the volume isn't there for that raise this year. And, like, he goes home, looks at his 3 kids, and he's like, hey guys, like, what do you want for Christmas? Let's limit it to 1 or 2 things each. And then they say, like, oh no, like, but Tommy down the street said they're getting like 10 presents each. And then he has to explain to them why he can't give them more gifts. So
he said Tommy's dad works in a clean parking lot.
Tommy's dad works for the most. Yes, exactly. Like, if you think about it that way, Tommy's dad works at a really respectable facility that doesn't have many of the. It's crying upstairs. It doesn't have the rigamaroos. I don't think that's the word either. Honestly, if you're a Minifan listening to this and you like to go into parking lots to urinate or shit, don't. Just don't.
That's a PSA. We're gonna put it out there right now. I know many of you guys never even thought about that, but
my dad's a urinator. Like, anywhere. Like, I remember walking back from the Paw Sox games. We used to go to Potter's games all the time, and
Yeah,
like
so did we. Just unlocked a memory for me.
we'd be in the middle of the parking lot, and he would just walk in between two cars and start to pee. And like, I just thought that was the wildest thing. Like, you get arrested, like,
That's the America they took from us.
true. And then all of a sudden, change in office, and no one's pissing in parking lots. People
That's
just,
right. And they just sprinkle bugs in the Cheetos after that.
dude, I was crazy. That video came up again. The bugs are in the Cheetos.
They
Everybody,
are listening. If that video came up again, they are listening.
oh, they definitely are listening. Like, if we talk about Amazon right now, Amazon, um, Amazon solar lights for your backyard.
Mhm.
Amazon solar lights for your backyard.
I have Amazon
Let's just leave it at
solar
that.
lights in my backyard.
So do I. But they don't have to know that. That'll be our next banner ad.
Do you think that is are we sort of white trash for having those in our backyard? I can't tell.
Certainly.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Certainly. Well, how much do they cost you each?
I have no idea. I don't remember. I got them a couple years ago.
Yeah, if it was less than like $5, yeah.
They were very cheap. And now
Yeah.
mine are the ones that have the stake that you stick in the ground.
I have two iterations. I have ones that you like the fence post. You screw it to the top of it, and then it illuminates down and out. Those are like
That's kind of cool.
$12 each.
I've also got the string lights going.
Oh, you do? I like that.
Yeah, that borders like nice, fun, and white trashish. Like it's on the cup. It could go either way.
We had that as full white trash. My wife bought a American flag set of hanging lights that you tacked against the wall, and like it never looked good, and like the flag was all fucking mangled. So yeah, we were fully white trash at that point. That was when Robin wasn't happy. I had a weird interaction with Robin today.
What's going on? Weird. Oh, I got a neighbor thing too. You go first.
So like my yard's a disaster. I'm over it. I'll do the soil thing next year, Mott. I'm just too far gone. I'm like mentally defeated. So she's out in her front lawn, and she has like, I've seen this woman before. It's a woman who's the same age as her, but this woman has an N95 mask on and like eye goggles, and she's walking around with chemicals while Robin. Have I said her name's Robin? I think so.
Yeah.
I hate you, Robin. I don't hate her. She's walking. Robin's just watching her spray chemicals, and the woman comes over and she's like, "Yeah, I'm killing this kind of a weed, like with these chemicals." I'm like, "Great, I'm unloading groceries out of my car. Like, I think we're good here." Like, I just wasn't in the mood. And she's like, "Do you want me to do your yard too?" Like, this has to be a setup. But Robin didn't say a word. This was just that woman going rogue.
She was going to do that and then send you an invoice.
That's what I'm afraid of. That was legitimately my first thought. Yeah, that was weird. No real substance to it, but I didn't feel comfortable with that interaction this morning.
So you're telling me that Robin is a hoverer, similar to when I have a handyman at the house. Is that kind of the situation she was in?
Yes, she's a hoverer.
Now, I will say, if I've got somebody wearing gear, spraying chemicals, I probably wouldn't hover. I have enough like in mind to not do that. If somebody's screwing something into a wall,
it's just her friend. I'm pretty sure it's just her friend. Like, she has this group of friends, like 3 or 4 of them, that smoke pot in the backyard all day, which like I got no problem with. Yeah. They're talking about like the different strands and stuff. I was eavesdropping yesterday, but yeah, like I think it's one of her buddies from the smoke circle. Like, I don't know what's going on over there. Go ahead, go on with your neighbor story though, because that was a little that fell short.
I just realized yesterday. Today's Tuesday, right? Yeah, I just realized yesterday that I don't know my neighbor's name. Now, granted, this is a neighbor that we they live directly next to us, like our yards touch. But they just, and I've talked about this on Drips, they just kind of started coming outside. They were like indoor people for a while.
Stonewall guy?
Exactly.
Got it.
But so, as I've said before, our kids are around the same age, so they're starting to play. My son was going to go get a haircut. And so they're outside playing, and I'm like, oh, we got to go. He's going to get a haircut. The woman, the wife.
The kids play together?
Yeah, they do now. It's like a new development.
Okay.
And she goes, oh, where does he get his haircut? Because we want to bring our son to get a haircut soon. I go, oh, no free ads. But I said, oh, Cornerstone in Bristol. By the way, I think I've talked about it before. There is a huge Minifan that cuts hair there.
That's where he works?
Bristol. Yeah.
Good guy.
She goes, oh, Cornerstone. The owner's name is Adam. I went to school with him. So I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. So yesterday, I go to get my haircut, and I go, and Adam was in the chair, cutting someone in the chair next to me. I go, oh, Adam, my neighbor knows you. He goes, oh yeah, what's her name? And in that moment, I was like, oh, I don't know. No idea. I have no idea. And he's like, oh, that doesn't do anything for me.
I had a similar situation actually yesterday with a package, but I figured out Charlie's names. Charlie's across the street.
Oh,
I
rogue
never,
package.
I never knew it, and it went to. I was about to say my home address. Not gonna get me that. Holy shit!
Oh no, is it water? Tell me it's water.
Where did you come from? No, it's the dog.
Oh, all right.
Sorry, dude. Hold on.
I thought what was happening there, folks, was this plumbing situation that Pat is having. I thought it, because it's been dripping for a while, no pun intended. I thought it finally got through that faucet, got through the foundation in the wall, and is starting to fill up in his basement, which is a possibility if he doesn't call that guy back.
True. She's generally that close to me, or like that. She had to look at her eyes like I just took a shit.
No, you're just gonna
I was
find it
just checking
somewhere.
to make sure she didn't take a shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got a rogue package sent to my house, and it had his first name on it, which I thought that was it, but I never really confirmed. You should hope that one of their packages comes your way.
Getting it in writing is huge.
Big time.
Like there's
I
no
took a picture.
Did you really?
Yep.
You're a big picture taker.
Mm-hmm.
Like documenting
ADD,
things, which is smart.
ADHD, things go in one ear out the other.
Yeah. Oh, that is
hear it?
That's you're any minute now you're gonna hear that the famous Daddy can't help, he's doing his podcast.
I don't think it'll be that quiet this time around.
No. Was it really quiet the first time? She wanted you to hear that.
No, yeah.
Let me tie in being able to do nothing, and also something going in one ear and out the other.
Okay.
I think I've mentioned this before, but before I ever got like a real job, one of the odd jobs I would do is work for Securitas. It was like a security company.
Okay.
And one year they would just send you random, they'd call you and be like, oh, are you available for these hours? We need someone to do whatever. One year, I want to say it was Verizon was on a strike in Rhode Island. So they sent me to one of these. Yeah, I did get called that a couple times, but they sent me to this location. I want to say it might have been Warwick, or maybe it was North Kingstown. It was somewhere, I think, more South County. But I was getting the 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. shift. Oh. So when I would show up at 6, they were definitely still picketing there. But these picketers, they went home as soon as it got dark. And none of them really got all that rowdy or anything. So I ended up I would sit there until 6 o'clock in the morning doing nothing. And they let me sit in my car. So I would just sit there and do absolutely nothing at all. And I got this gig a couple times, and I was like, this is great. I'm getting paid. I'm just sitting here. This is back in the day where prior to watching movies on your laptop, there would be like a DVD play, like a portable DVD player. Remember those?
Yeah.
So I was like watching movies. Then I got Brave, and I was like,
porn.
Well, no. I was like, I'm gonna smoke over here. I'm just gonna get high and just sit in the car. So I bring a bowl and I smoke, and I just have it, the bowl and the lighter kind of sitting in the center console area of my car. Of course, that one time early, maybe whatever it is, 3 o'clock in the morning, a truck comes pulling up. It's one of the workers. So I open the gate, let him through, and he stops by my car, and he's looking inside my car, and he's like, hey, he's like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I'm doing the security. He's like, well, do they really need you here when the picketers aren't here? And I'm like, I think so. I was told to be here. I saw him go from looking me in the eye to down, and his eyes locked into the bowl. Didn't have time to hide it. And he looked right at it. And then he looked back at me, and he was like, why don't we call your boss and see if you really need to stay the rest of your shift? And I'm like, what the fuck? So we go inside the building, and he tells me his name. Let's say his name's I don't know, Terry or something.
Steve Verizon.
This is Steve. Yeah, sure, it's Steve Terry. He goes, call your boss. And so I call my boss, and I forgot the guy's name immediately after he told me. So if he said, hey, I'm Mr. Steve Terry, I called my boss, and I go, hey, I'm here with, and I just stared at the guy. And in that moment, he realized that I forgot his name too. And I was like, some guy here who came in, he wants to know if I need to finish my shift because no one's here. And they ended up telling the guy, sorry, we're contracted to be here. So I stayed. But
the
still,
guy didn't rat you out?
He didn't. So he's cool for that. But
shout out Steve Terry.
But
wow, he could have cooked your ass.
Remembered that I forgot that guy's name. And ever since that moment, when I shake someone's hand, I try so hard to remember what their name is, because he looked at me. I mean, 10 minutes ago, he looked at me and saw that I had a bowl sitting there on the job. And then,
Friggin' druggie.
and then he realized that I didn't know his name right in front of him.
That is one thing I have never done. I could never work high.
Oh, it's terrible. It's the worst decision of all time. I would never ever do it again.
That's a one and done. I would just eat everything and be so unproductive. That's why I am fat, by the way. That's why I'm in the state that I'm in. I don't really eat during the day, but if I crack into that 5 milligram heater,
Eddie. Yeah.
Watch out. The goldfish are toast. I just crush goldfish. But I've been better recently. But yeah, drugs, the drugs are bad.
They are. Yeah, not as much of a pothead as I used to be. But the edible game, it's hard not to be in the edible game these days.
Goddamn right it's not. It's a challenge. Once this bad Larry's over, I'm gonna go upstairs and get my munch on. What else do I have for notes here? I'm glad you talked about the computer, because this could actually pinball into something that you wanted to talk about, and I hate doing meetings on the run.
Yeah, driving and calling into a meeting.
The fucking worst. It's always the first thing I do too. I'm like, hey, sorry, traffic's a disaster in Providence right now. So I was supposed to be back in my computer by now, but I'm not. So just bear with me here, and then I just go on mute.
Yeah, it's almost like there's the only positive I would take out of it is you seem busy when you're driving, like so they know you're kind of up to something.
True,
but you add nothing to the meeting.
Correct.
If you're going to be on the road, it should be like, hey, send me a recap via email. I'm driving.
Well, that's what the intern's for, I guess.
Yeah. Do you do that thing where you kind of, I guess you just said it, but you kind of chime in just to make it seem like you're, yeah, I concur. And then.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what I noticed too. That's the perfect one.
Yeah. Yeah. You're there.
Set expectations low.
Yeah. Now, meeting wise, are you a turn your camera on guy?
Fuck no.
No.
Nope. I will do about everything in the book to not. Like one of the meetings I do every week, cameras are mandatory, and I don't do it. And like somebody called me out once, and I think I used that excuse. I was like, "Oh, I ate a bunch of snacks last night, and I'm wearing it in my face, so I'm not going to go on camera." Like no one laughed.
You said that? Oh, yeah. You were going for the joke. I thought you said it.
I was going for the joke. No, I was like, "Oh, I don't look good right now. I ate a bunch of snacks last night, so I'm pretty thick." And like just pure silence. And let me tell you, there's 97 people on this call.
Wow. 97 people, and they all have their cameras on.
Yep.
That's like nauseating.
It's such a hardo move. And like we go around, we announce all the new locations we won. And every time we win one, somebody brings out a bell, and it's like, all right, we got 1, 2, 3 Main Street. Just sitting there,
the crowd goes wild.
Fucking A. But yeah, all cameras on all the time, smiling faces. I'm just over here, just looking for sharp objects in my office. No, not really.
I definitely feel like I'll get pressured into putting the camera on. Like if everyone else has it, I'm like, oh, here we go, and I pop the camera on.
Well, one thing I noticed too, if you have a group where only a select few have the camera on, if you stay firm with the no camera, a lot of the times it will backtrack and cameras will start being turned off.
I've seen it. Yep.
That's a trend I want to get started. The cameras are just they're the worst. Like,
you know what they call that move?
The vodka.
The Dr. Vodka.
The Dr. Vodka. Look at that. We both thought of the same joke at the same time. But yeah, no, he's a no camera guy. He doesn't want his identity out there. I respect it.
Yeah, you thought there were moles on Mayo's face.
Oh my God, I've heard stories about what Vodka's face looks like. Holy moly. And some of the stuff, yeah, like somebody told me it was like, imagine what Andy Mayo looks like, but like if he got punched in the face 600 times. I was like, holy shit. Like I thought Mayo had already been punched in the face.
Yeah, you got there before I could. All right. Well,
I have to. He tweeted out a picture of something that he ate, a salad. One thing I do with one of my group chats is whenever somebody sends a picture, I screenshot it and I put pictures of penises in it, like very small. So I'm going to do that after this.
So you're going to make a boner salad?
Holy shit! This is a weird world, man. This is a weird world.
I'm telling
you. Boner salad. Does he run a Dante's Twitter account?
Whose?
Dante.
Dante.
That was one of my proudest moves. Like Dante the Don, like the crazy guy.
Oh, yeah.
And I quote tweet. He's like, I need somebody to run my Twitter, and I just quote tweeted at Boner Salad.
I
and
did
he's
see that. Yeah.
the best name ever. He's got the job.
Yeah.
That'd be cool if he still had it.
Totally unrelated to Mayo in the slightest. I want to give you kudos for that original meme you made.
Oh,
that KMS
dude,
meme. Where did you think of that? Funny, dude.
That's the thing with like ADD, ADHD. Like my mind just wanders sometimes. So I was thinking like, I'm like, what's a scene from The Sopranos that could be perfect?
That just
here?
fit, yeah.
Boom, and I'm like, there's no KMS today, so I did what? No KMS today? Like I don't know, something about it. I was like, dynamite.
It works on like a couple different levels.
Yeah, that was like a 50 like burger. I got 50 bones on that.
Yeah. Well, people like originality, and I think that it's one of those ones where we have there's a KMS is on vacation. You could probably use this multiple times, and it would still hit. Like you could drop that when there's not a show, when people typically would expect it. I guarantee you, it wouldn't get like sour, boring, tired.
You don't think I'd come off as like a cunt or anything like that? No. You don't think it would come off cunty?
It's good content. It's good quality content. Like I said, it makes sense. People like The Sopranos. It fits with that scene with the birthday party and everything.
We don't have to go back on how good of a tweet it was. I think we understand the dynamite that I landed on. But that's a good point. Maybe tomorrow, because there's no KMS tomorrow, maybe I'll do the same tweet.
Yes, I think.
But I'll do it without like a caption. You know what I mean? Like I'll just do it with nothing. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yep. Absolutely.
Thanks, Sean. I appreciate that. This week sucks, by the way.
It's tough. It's always tough. I know. You always wonder, like, is there going to be a surprise drop? Like maybe even if it's just like
years ago, I think we had one, or like a couple years ago, they didn't know that they got the 4th of July off. Like I think they realized it during that week.
Yep. You never know. Like it could be one of those things where like one of his interviews drops, maybe an author or whoever, like an actor or something that you weren't expecting.
Maybe somebody like a Minifan will do like a live show or something at like 8:00.
That would be good, especially someone who.
Did you tune into Sneakers Live? I didn't catch all of it, but I heard it was good.
I was going to. The only thing that detracted me from, like, all kidding aside, to checking it out, I know it didn't end up going live, was Meeting of the Mind. Like it's hard for me to not try to tune into a Meeting of the Mind. So
I don't know why. Listen, they can do whatever they want over there. I don't know why Menners would schedule it at the same time as Meeting of the Minds. Like John made it pretty. It doesn't make much sense. Like I don't really understand. I don't understand the tactic, because obviously we're going to be loyal to Meeting of the Minds. It's the Dynamite show. Just saying these sentences out loud, we are off the rails, like you read about this week.
I think that any show that Menners does or is a part of should just be called
what?
Well, it should be called the Here's What I Would Do show, because every single one is just if I was one of the producers, I would do this. If I was this, if I was there, I would tell Kirk to do this and that. And he needs a rebrand, because
he was such a funny guy.
If he was a funny guy, he needs to get back to that. I was thinking there's two things. One, he needs to get rid of that kangaroo internet connection. It sounded like he was broadcasting from a marsupial pouch.
He's he's a podcast mogul too. So like,
and he needs to get funny again.
The funny again thing would be very helpful for his overall. I don't know what he's got going over there, but yeah, he was very funny. And then the separation of the networks just broke him in half.
I know it, but he's got Kane going strong over there.
Kane's doing well. Kane's doing well.
3 Up, 3 Down. That's a well-liked show. I think it's universally.
I enjoy
liked. The past 2 have been great.
Mm-hmm.
They're not happy with Practice Pat.
Listen,
but neither are you.
Pat's not happy to Practice Pat.
Exactly.
He didn't. Not one lie was spoken from Kane's mouth the other night. No issues on my front. Got to go out there and change the narrative. That's what we're about.
Yeah.
Yes, very good show. Hope McFuss Daddy returns soon.
Same.
A little bit of structure. What else do they have over there?
They've got the rundown.
Hard pass. Hard pass.
Yeah, the first one was bad, like legitimately bad. The one they were calling like a test run when it was just Metters and Throatcella. I will say that it's a little ironic because this one with Throatcella was a little bit more digestible. So I did that. I thought he did a little bit better on this one, and I like Danny and Bill Ricca. I did listen to that episode, and I was like, okay, if they can kind of hone this in, it could be doable. I mean, obviously, I love the rundown, but I thought Ocello did a little bit better.
Can't say I tuned in. Maybe I will. The more shows, the merrier. But yeah, that just doesn't have joy written in it for me. I enjoy myself.
There wasn't
Open Borders.
Open Borders, great.
I am an Open Borders show. Oh, Open Borders, mega fan. Mega fan.
Luke's doing a new show.
I don't know what that tweet was. He said he woke up in the middle of the night. He thought of something, wrote it down on a piece of paper, and that's how he got the name of it. So whatever he's doing, I'm listening to.
Yeah. Did you see the name of his the first episode?
Is it like the so?
Well, I think that's the name of the show.
Okay.
But the name of the episode, I don't know. I don't have it in front of me, but it almost reminded me of like, remember those bands like Taking Back Sunday or Brand New. Yeah. It reminded me of like the title of one of those songs. Like there's like these long names of like one song.
Perfect.
But listen, if he does a show, I'm gonna watch it. So
I'm in 100%. Yeah, no. Hopefully we get some stuff this week. I was hoping Sneakers went live. He said he was going to do a Minifan roast. I'm sure that'd have been original and funny. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what else there was a Puff piece. Did that come out? The Nadu one?
I don't know. Very timely, Gus, by the way. Very timely. Rico about to kill one another, and that drops 4 weeks later. Drives me nuts.
We tried to tell. I don't even mean.
I tried to tell him,
like me and you, but I remember
it was me and you. We were like, drop the fucking podcast today.
While it's hot, the topic's
like hot. Dave will see it. Come on.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I got to do Donnie first.
I know. I didn't. It would have made so much sense right after the Rico beef, and then maybe you drop it while you're with Rico in Chicago.
1,000%. He was. That was it. That podcast drops. Andrew Augustus and Jeff Nadeau. Rico takes a look to his right, and it's Gus smiling. Dave gets his hands on it. So that's it.
Yeah, strike while the iron's hot, they say.
I'm no genius. Trust me.
Yeah.
I'm flawed. Human. But, Gus.
Are you paying attention to mixed golf content? I think it's pretty good.
Yes, I am. I don't know where it's coming from, but I certainly am. And I got some tips for him. I've texted him a couple things that I think are going to improve his game.
He has a good swing, by the way. I mean,
I've played with him before.
That's true.
He can swing it. Yeah. He can swing it. Speaking of, I have to call Montante back after this because I never called him back. I think it's like 3 missed calls at this point. Just wants to talk a little golf. I'm telling you, golf's addicting.
It is, I know. I got to get involved. We might be doing some golfing this weekend up in the bachelor party up in Portland. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. What do you?
That's one thing we should do. A Minifan basketball league. Let's just do like a Minifan golf league. That's something. Practice Pat will be gone. Like practice Pat dead at that point. That'll be dominant Pat in his element. I do have to withdraw from the Rhode Island Am. It's a real shame.
How terrifying would it be if the practice Pat found its way over to the course?
No, I swear to God. I swear to God,
devastating.
That's all I have left. My kid bullies me. The other one that's coming's already giving us a run for our money. My job's a nightmare. If like all of a sudden like my golf game I turned into like a Joe Biden 6 handicap, suicide.
Breaking news, by the way, I did just get a text from Mick, and we will see him on a future episode of Drips.
Wow. Look at you. Wheeling and dealing. We got a few guests we got to get in here.
That's true. That is true. I know. They come a clamoring, don't they?
Come on?
Yeah, might have.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
What else you got? We're at the 53-minute mark. It's usually where we cap it. I'm open to any additional.
I will say, I just got to text my wife. Breaking news as well to plug the pool in. The pool is going swimmingly. No pun intended. A couple of weeks ago, I talked about putting a knife through it. We have stayed clear throughout the entire summer. I'm doing the right dose of chemicals. I think I'm inhaling some. But yeah, the pool's actually in really good shape, which was something I didn't see coming.
It's good to have at least one thing that you manage, like in the household, that you take care of without someone having to kind of help you out or maybe nudging you to get it done. Like you own that, and you in no way, shape, or form should hold that over her head.
I throw away children's toys. I take care of the pool, and I water her garden.
There you go.
Other than that, I don't have much, but I don't ask for much.
Father of the year.
Yeah.
About to be father of 2.
Yeah. Oh boy, it's coming fast.
I can't wait for the live drips in the hospital.
That's gonna be good. I already picked out my spot. I did. We've been there enough where I can just fucking take a look at every spot that I tested. Internet connection. The food, the cafeteria is fantastic. Oh
Yeah.
I went there last night, 2 days ago. $10 for like a whole smorgasbord of stuff. So I'm all in for that.
Oh, I do have one more question for you. What do you do if you get invited to something like a bachelor party or a guy's golf trip or something like that? Like being the guy who doesn't drink, do you find yourself like, do you not put yourself in those situations? Do you kind of like what's your move if you get kind of placed in that situation where people are drinking?
It doesn't really faze me. Like my whole thing with booze was I never necessarily had like a come to Jesus, like, oh shit, like you have a drinking problem, you need to get help, you need to do this, that, and the other thing. It's my dad was for like 30 years now. Well, we never really knew until recently. He's been clean, sober for like 5-7 years, something like that.
Shout out.
But it came to a point where like I just realized I was chasing hangovers, and it was kind of like an every night thing. And my wife was like, all right, we got to give this a fucking rest, because you're waking up on the couch every night. It was, and then I had one night where my son was like 2 months old. She's like, I need you to take him for like a half an hour. I got to go do this. I'm like, I don't think that's a great idea for holding a baby. And at that moment, like, I was like, this isn't really the way that I want to go. So I was able to stop pretty quickly. I have no problem being around it. I would say no to a bachelor party because
it's just almost like not boring, but more annoying. Like, oh, you're gonna have to be around all these people that are like sloppy or whatever.
I thought that was going to be the case, but it's actually kind of fun just to sit back and watch.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Just enjoy it. I usually bring one of my gummies and just kind of lay back a little bit in the background. But no, it doesn't. I've been fortunate enough that it doesn't necessarily bother me. I think if I had like a legit problem, I think it was turning into one for sure. But I think if I was at that point, then it would probably be more difficult. But no, never had the shit. I had a harder time quitting dip.
Yeah,
shout out Zen.
Yeah, that's true. There was made me laugh. I don't know who the Patrick Crowley guy is in the chat, but he made me laugh the last episode. I was watching it, and you were talking about, it might have been when you were going off on your spiel on the parking. He just goes, John wants to leave and go to the brewery with his kids and drink 10 beers.
Yes. It's so funny.
I wanted to like find him and send him a message to tell him I thought that was funny. But
I don't know if he's on Twitter or not. He's pretty good in the comments. He always talks shit, but it's like funny. It's not like the kill yourself talk shit.
Right.
But
no,
I don't have that. Oh, battery saver's on. That's a good sign. But yeah, what are the plans for the bachelor party up in Maine?
Up in Maine, heading up Friday. We're gonna go Friday to Sunday. I think Friday people are getting up all at different times, so some people are gonna kind of do their own thing. I know we're gonna try to meet to kind of shower, get ready or whatever at the Airbnb
together.
It's you should see